Hey guys, this is your girl Jennifer Lynn, the Crown Jewel, and I am back with another YouTube video. So, this is a prophetic word from the Lord. As always, anytime you guys hear a prophetic word from myself or anyone else, always take it back to the Lord to see if that word is in fact for you. So, the title of this video is Your Purpose is Connected to Your Marriage. Will you accept the call? Your purpose is connected to your marriage. Will you accept the call? And so, a few days ago, when I was in prayer and spending time with the Lord gave me this vision of Himself. It was a huge vision, and this was a vision of the Lord. It was a huge spirit of the Lord. And He was wearing this crown. He began to take the crown off of His head and He put it on a woman's head. But the woman kept trying to take the crown off her head and give it back to the Lord. And so then the Lord showed me a vision of this very like big evil hand that was coming against this woman that was trying to attack this woman. Okay. And so what the Lord is saying with these two visions, He has a plan for your life. He has purpose for you. He has something beyond what you could ever imagine when it comes to your purpose, when it comes to your future, when it comes to your marriage. And so many of you guys, you may feel like, your marriage is not going to come together, that God is not going to fulfill these other promises that He has told you. The reason you may be feeling this way is because you have been getting hit by the enemy with attack after attack. And so the Lord is saying you are focused more on what the enemy is trying to attack you with as opposed to what God has showed you and what He has promised you. And so, like I said, God has something really beautiful in mind for you when it comes to your purpose. And this purpose, it is connected to the marriage promise that many of you guys have been believing God for. And so after those two visions, the Lord gave me the scripture of Luke 145. And it reads, "Blessed is she who has believed that the Lord would fulfill His promises to her." And so after then, the Lord began to show me hearts. And this is the Lord showing many of you guys that He loves you. He has a plan for your life, but He wants to know, do you trust Him? Do you trust and believe what He has told you? Do you believe and trust that He's going to fulfill every promise that He has given you? The next vision the Lord showed me where someone was holding a weapon, and it was a GUN. I'm not going to say the word because I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but it was a GUN. And this is the enemy. He is trying to steal what God has promised you. Okay. He's trying to take over your spirit and just keep you down, sad, and have you not to believe what God has said He's going to do for you. He's literally, the enemy is trying to take your life because he sees the call that is on your life. He knows that God has something major planned for you. He knows even about the marriage that God is going to give you and what you and your husband are going to bring to the kingdom once you guys come together. So now that the enemy has found out that this is you and you have this call on your life, he's found out that you're not just some ordinary person. Okay, you are like a giant in the spirit. And the enemy, he's actually threatened by you. He's actually threatened by your marriage promise. But before you get to the marriage, the Lord has something that He's trying to give you. And this is your purpose. Your purpose is connected to the marriage. And so God has given you a seat in his kingdom, but it's like some of you guys, you don't really want it. You're focused on when is this marriage going to come together. And God is saying before he can give you the marriage, he needs you to tap into your purpose. He needs you to tap into what he created you to do in this world. He needs you to tap into that. And many of you guys, you don't even realize how special you are, how God has blessed you with this amazing opportunity, this amazing gift. You can't see it because you're focused on the attacks that the enemy is throwing your way because of the fact that he's threatened by you, because of the fact that he sees the magnificent call that you have on your life that is going to do complete damage to the kingdom of darkness. And this is why, for some of you guys, the enemy is coming so hard against you, trying to take what God has said is already yours. So if God has said it's already yours, there's nothing that the enemy can do. He can try to throw darts at you, but he's going to miss every single time. He's not going to be able to hit where he's trying to really hit you. He's going to miss every single time. And so the Lord, he also showed me a watch. And so the Lord is saying, for many of you guys, the time is now. It is time for you to step in your purpose. Okay. And so the Lord, he's always showing me men in suits. And so I'm beginning to understand this more and more every day, because I keep saying, Lord, why do you keep giving me so many visions of men in suits? And I know these men, they're coming to us and they're going to be walking and talking different, like I've said in the past. Okay. The Lord is dressing them in new clothes. He's giving many of them new positions in the kingdom. And this is all connected to your purpose. So, in order for you to get that man, that husband that you desire, that you deserve, the Lord is saying that you have to first accept the call that is on your life. God cannot give you half of a promise. So, for many of you guys who are standing and believing for marriage, God has told you you are walking in your marriage season. God has even told you who your husband is. He's already promised you this, okay? He's already promised you all these other things that you would have, like wealth, land, family, businesses, great careers, and this, that, and the other. All of this is connected to your marriage, because when you come together with your husband, you guys are going to be walking as one in purpose together. So that means this is one large promise that the Lord is giving you. And again, the Lord cannot give you half of a promise. He can't do that. So in order for you guys to be able to get this marriage promise, you have to first start walking in your purpose, whatever that may be. Whatever that, I've been saying this constantly. God is telling many of you guys that there are certain things that you are supposed to be doing. He's saying this for a reason. He's not just saying this just to be talking, okay? He's saying this for a reason, because this is how you're going to help bring your love story together. If you think about the story of Adam and Eve, when God created Adam, he had already assigned him to be able to tend to the animals in the land. Then he decided that Adam, he needed a helpmate. He was already walking in his purpose, but he needed a helpmate. Now, I don't know if any of you guys can really catch and hear what I'm saying when I say that. He needed a helpmate. He was already in his purpose. So the Lord was creating Eve to help Adam in his purpose. So it's going to be the same thing with you guys. The Lord has already told you who your husband is. But in order for the marriage to come together, you have to first start walking in your purpose so your helpmate can then come together with you and you guys can be walking in purpose together. Marriage, if you guys don't know, is a ministry. I'm sure many of you guys have heard this before. Okay. So, this is what the Lord is saying. He's trying to give you what He's promised you, but many of you guys, you're refusing to accept the crown that God has given you. The very crown that He's trying to put on your head and say, daughter, this is what I've called you to do in this world. Daughter, this is what I've called you to do on this earth. You're going to be big. You're going to be great. You're going to be magnificent. You're going to be doing all these different things. All of that is connected to the marriage. So I've talked about this before. I need you guys to go back and read your dreams, read your journals. I spent a lot of time doing that today. I went back like 4 or 5 years in my journals because I'm like, Lord, I need you to bring this together for me. I need to make sense of what you're wanting me to do fully in this season. And it blew me away. Like I said, I went 4 or 5 years back. And sometimes I do that. I spend a day and I just go through my journals and read because there's been many things I've actually forgotten about. You know, the Lord, He speaks to us through dreams, visions. We have different experiences in our lives. So if we're writing this information down, that's a build up of information. It can be a lot. And so I encourage you guys once again to go back and read about some of the things that God has spoken to you. God is not speaking this stuff just to be speaking it, He's speaking it for a reason. And He's saying to you, I have this major promise for you that is going to blow your mind, that's going to be beyond what the world can do for you, beyond what the people in your life can do for you. I am the Lord, and I am sending a blessing to you that is going to blow your mind. This is part of the call that you have on your life. Again, in order to get to that marriage, you have to step in your purpose. Just like Adam and Eve, God is trying to get your helpmate to you. But in order to do that, you have to first start walking in your purpose. I'm going to say that again. You have to first start walking in your purpose. Many of you guys, and I'm not going to say many, I have a habit of saying many, but some of you guys, God has already told you what you are to be doing, but for whatever reason, you're choosing not to do it. And I'm just going to be real and I'm going to be honest with you. God is not just going to send your husband to your front door to ring your doorbell and to marry you just like that if you are not first doing the things that He's told you to do. He's preparing you. Okay. He's trying to prepare you for the marriage. So if you are the God ordained spouse that is standing and believing, if you are the kingdom spouse standing and believing, you should be already walking in your purpose. If your spouse is out in the world, God is going to be doing a work on them. But by you already walking with the Lord, living for the Lord, doing the work of the kingdom, many of you guys are going to have to show your spouses the ins and outs. You're going to have to show your spouses the ins and outs of the ministry, the business. So God is saying He needs you to get into it now. He needs you to do it now. The time is now. Okay? The time is now. You know, I I was reading in my journal, and I'm not going to reveal. It's so much I could reveal, but I will say this. I remember seeing today where the Lord was saying, I cannot give you what you're asking me for until you give me all of you. And I wrote that in my journal. I cannot give you what you are asking for until you give me all of you. So I don't know who that is for, but whatever you are asking God for, be it the marriage or something else, God cannot give you that until you step into obedience, until you give him what he is asking for you, what he is requiring from you. Okay? Again, guys, God has your husband. He's just waiting on you guys. He's waiting on you guys to step into what he has called you into, whatever that may be. Maybe you're supposed to be starting a YouTube ministry. Maybe you're supposed to be writing a book. Maybe you're supposed to be opening a church. Maybe you're supposed to be starting some type of business that's going to touch the world in some type of way. Only you know what God has been telling you. What is that one thing that is on your mind that you have not been able to let go? That one thing. And that is where you will find your purpose and what you are supposed to be doing. So if any of you guys are having trouble with this and you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, you are more than welcome to sign up for a coaching session with me and we can figure this out together. I do a purpose and encouragement coaching calls. So you're more than welcome. But again, God is giving you something special. And many of you guys, you keep giving it back. Some of you guys, you don't want to do what God is telling you to do. And this is why many of the marriages, they're at a standstill. Because again, I keep saying that the marriages are not about us. This is about two people coming together to do the work of the Lord. You are the standing spouse. That means you have to get started with the promise. You have to get started with the purpose. You got to get started with the ministry, the business, whatever that may be before your spouse step into it, because you're already walking with the Lord. You're already walking with the Lord. So now it's time for you to step into obedience. The Lord cannot deliver your helpmate until you are already walking in purpose. So I don't know who that is for, but again, this is what the Lord gave me a couple of days ago. This is your girl, Jennifer Lynn, the crown jewel, and I will talk with you guys next time.